everyone. Welcome to the June 7th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. We started at 6 o'clock actually with a couple non-publics, one with Conservation Commission, and then with the Police Department. That brings us to, we don't have it down.
I know, we didn't put it down.
We didn't have it down, but we'll observe it. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll observe public comment first. Frank, I know you're chomping at the bit. I know you're chomping at the bit.
First time back at the podium in how long?
Well, too long, actually, but a good hiatus for you folks.
That's it.
But I prefer to do my public comment eye to eye.
Yes,
Welcome back.
So
I think we all do, actually.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Hopefully, just kind of a little bit of a levity, being that's the first time you've opened up in quite a while, and I've heard in the past, you know, about people being ejected from meetings for certain reasons. Certainly, the police chief was asked to give a pretty good, you know, iteration of it. So I'm just wondering if it's like a baseball game, if there's been a, you know, a sign, you know, from the coach to say, hey, you know, you get enough people here to.
He doesn't have the shepherd's hook behind you, so we'll be all
Pardon
right. He doesn't have the shepherd's hook behind you, so we'll be all right.
Okay. I limit myself to one issue tonight. Back on March 22nd, unfortunately, it is going back quite a ways, but like I said, I didn't do
Hey, Naomi?
the other way.
On
I don't
the
want to
TV.
go that one's important.
Okay.
It's recording.
You had, that meeting was the meeting where you approved people for, folks for boards and commissions. And I want to be perfectly clear. I am not coming to the defense of any one of those people, all right? But there were two before you. One was Laurie Davis for the commission, the
Conservation.
Conservation Commission, thanks. And then there was Neil Kirk for the Finance Committee.
Planning.
Yeah, no, Finance Committee. I'm sorry.
It's Planning
Yeah,
Board.
yeah, Planning Board. A lot of good it does me to have this, right? Well, I did view that meeting, and I thought it was, my opinion, it was pretty obvious to me that there may have been some planning by the board members ahead of time when those two names came up, that there would be no motion to them. I thought, if anything, you know, somebody would have made a motion, and then you could discuss it, and, you know, end up the way you ended up. But I thought it was unfortunate, but I made the parallel in my own mind to this. Those two people, back in 2020, Laurie Davis was one, Neil Kirk was another. This was a mailer that was sent out in preparation for that March voting, and it was of a different opinion of the Finance Committee and the Selectmen of how the taxpayers should spend their money. So they were on a different side. This year, in preparation for the March voting, there was a flyer that came out, and this is in regards to a zoning change for Mount Dearborn Road, historic district, to do away with the historic district. Well, isn't it odd that Neil Kirk's name is on here? And again, in preparation for this past March voting, there was a new group that had been formed, Where Taxpayers Coalition. This is the best I could get it printed out. I didn't do it, but my wife did. And isn't it odd? Laurie Davis's name is on it, and Neil Kirk's name is on it. Well, the coalition, they presented a different view, different opinion from the Finance Committee and the Selectmen. So I don't know what's going on, but for someone not to be even nominated, or two people not to be nominated at the March 22nd meeting, and they have this in common, of different opinions of the Finance Committee and of the Board of Selectmen, that I'm going to use your word, Jack, you know, you were able to perform a gotcha, you know. So, well, thanks for being able to use that word. I wouldn't have thought of it early on. But. So, like I say, I don't know what's going on, but here's the thing. I also viewed a meeting when, after that decision was made not to, you know, reinstitute those people for whatever reason. You never gave a reason. In fact, actually, the chairman of the Conservation Commission came into your meeting, which I was able to view when it was virtual, and at least twice, he questioned the board, why wasn't Laurie Davis? Again, I'm not coming to the defense. My issue is with the Board of Selectmen and your decision-making process. Okay, so he asked you, you know, why wasn't Laurie Davis reappointed to the Conservation Commission? All right, and it was at least twice that he used the words that she was a member in good standing. Well, you know, I could see somebody not being reappointed if they, you know, came to 1 or 2 meetings a year, or if they had some flagrant whatever, you know, come up with, you know, 20 good reasons why they shouldn't be, all right? But nobody could come up with a reason. In fact, I plan to call Andy Fulton, and he requested for you to, you know, to let him know why she didn't get reappointed, if it was something that he could do different, you know? So you got two people, all right, that seem to want to do the job, and they didn't even get nominated by you folks. And the last two things, I had a little bit more, but you got a lot in your agenda tonight. You know, there was you, Rick, and Sherry. You were reappointed this year as a result of March voting. And many people in this room, myself included, even though I'm a ballot clerk, you know, and some other people standing behind me, you take an oath of office, all right? And I do remember it, but I figured I better write it down. You solemnly swear to faithfully and impartially, that's the key word, perform the duties, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? Well, by not even nominating someone, no motion, that's not impartial, folks. That's biased. And I think you had a plan set up ahead of time. I really do. I really do. And that's too bad. You pledged allegiance to the flag, justice for all. Justice for all. You failed again. You know, I don't know if this is, well, it's got to be the new way of doing business, you know. But those two people were not nominated. There was no motion for them because you guys had a personal bias against them, at least for the 3 times that I had mentioned, if not others. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. I would like to think when the cops take that oath, you know, they're the only ones really, you know, with a guy with a gun and a badge, he's the only one out there that can take away your civil liberties. And boy, I hope they stick to the oath, you know, faithfully and impartially, justice for all. There's a lot in the news that that doesn't happen, you know, from that section of society. But I say you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Thank you. And thanks for not getting me ejected.
We'll reserve that right.
That's fine. Well, I got a lot of years behind me with public comment. It hasn't happened yet, so we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks again.
Anybody else for public comment before we move on?
My name's Tom Quinn, I'm with Duck Pond. We're on the agenda, but we're going to be continued, so I don't know when you want me to address the board about that issue.
We have a line.
At that point or at the public comments?
Yeah, we'll go to the line at that point. Okay. Any other public comment? All right, we'll move on to department head committee items. So recognize Denise Peerington. Come on up to the mic. and she's looking to be appointed to Parks and Recreation. Okay. Anybody have any questions for Denise?
Well, you can let her introduce herself for those that
All right.
might
Yeah.
be viewing.
I mean, yeah, well, like I say, yeah, most of us already know her,
My
so.
name is, okay, Denise Peerington, live on Thorndike Road, been in Ware for way too long to count. Do have an interest in getting on Parks and Rec. I think some of you know I've been coordinating the pickleball, just been going very well. So I'd like to contribute, because I'm asking them to do a lot of stuff that could be of help.
Everybody on park is 100% on board with Denise.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay. I'll move that we appoint Denise Peerington to Parks and Recreations for a term of 3 years as a full member.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thanks, Denise.
All right,
You're welcome.
Benji, you're up to award the trash trailer bid.
So I sent it out to 3 people, or received 3 bids, I should say. You see who I'm probably going to recommend be given the bid. I expect a little bit of discussion about it. So, I received 3 bids for a new push-out 3-axle trash trailer for the transfer station. One was J&J Truck Bodies and Trailers, they're out of Pennsylvania. One was Spec Tech, they're also out of Pennsylvania. And one is Utility Trailers of New England Incorporated, which anybody in the business probably recognize them as Mack Trailers. That particular company bid an aluminum trailer, even though we said
Spec was
steel,
steel.
and it came in way over budget, $122,384. J&J Truck Bodies bid what I asked, $105,000 even, with a $1,500 delivery charge, which if we took that route would be $106,500. Spec Tech, which is what we currently have for 2 trash trailers now, came in at $72,400.
How do you like Spec Tech
They've been
equipment?
fine, yeah.
Any service issues with them in the past?
Yeah, you don't have much for service once you get a trash trailer.
Yeah.
Pretty much you done.
Now, is that hard ox? I forget.
Yeah, that was Spec Tardox, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I don't know how tomorrow's phone call's gonna go, so we need to start with now by, awarding the bid to someone. I do know a mistake was made on this number on their behalf. We'll see if they honor it. It was
Okay.
supposed to have been a 9 out of 7, the guy told me.
Oh, okay.
Because that is $5,000 lower than the one that Tim got in 2016.
Right, right.
So if they honor it, we need a smoking deal. If not, then I'll be back to speak to you and Naomi. I've already talked to Naomi and what the legalities are. But I'm gonna offer them the bid. That's what I'm gonna recommend you guys to offer to. And
Well, that's the bid that they came forward
that's
with.
the bid came forward, and I have the papers there. And we talked to him on the phone, went back, and he said, oh, okay.
Oops.
Does that include
Would
the
you like to
delivery?
talk to the owner? I said, no, no need.
Nope.
You might want to.
Does that
Yeah.
include the delivery? They're coming
Yep.
out of Pennsylvania, so
Yep.
All right.
Oh, good deal.
they don't go back on it.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah. But even at the 92, it's still the deal.
It still would have been the deal. So
Right.
we'll have to revisit it. I don't know. I don't know if it has to already be done.
It probably have to be re-awarded, right? At that point?
You'd have to redo it, yeah.
We'd have to redo the motion.
Withdraw his bid.
You'd have to withdraw it.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't do it at the time that he realized the issue.
It
Yeah.
wasn't until they had a conversation after he left, though.
When was
The
it,
bid
June
opening
3rd?
was done.
After the bid.
Bid opening was done.
Yeah.
And then there was some looking over, because we joked about it, was there wheels?
Yep.
Right.
And it wasn't until after that he looked it up and realized that he'd made a $20,000 mistake. To our advantage, I guess.
Well, I'm just,
So he should have withdrawn his bid if he knew that.
He should have, yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah,
He
he
said,
didn't.
oh,
But he didn't.
so I don't know if that means I'm gonna take it for that. I don't really know what that means.
I guess
well, if we have to re-award it, we will, I think, but,
we'll have to rebid it.
right. Right.
back here again.
We'll worry about that when it comes, I
That's right,
thought.
when
I didn't know
Crossbridge
how
gets
else to
here.
handle it other than just bring this forth to you, because this is what I said is gonna be awarded tonight. That's what was put in the paper, fair to everybody else, so I guess we have to take these steps.
I make a motion that we accept the bid from Spec Tech for $72,400 for the solid waste trailer.
I'll
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Benji.
Chief, you're up.
So, two items. First one is the New Hampshire, essentially their Parks and Rec Department. There you go. Department of Natural and Cultural Resources is requesting we perform a 2-officer detail over the July 4th weekend. This is a copy of the contract.
It's at Clough State Park, right?
Yes. What did I say?
I don't remember.
Probably
You said Chloe, I think last
Yeah, Clough.
Clough.
And what they, in order for me to sign this, they need you all to make a motion and approve the municipality certificate of authority. So I just need a motion and approval, so our town clerk can sign that, authorizing me to sign the contract. Right? That's looking confused. That's right, Naomi, right?
Town clerk.
Town clerk
Maureen.
certifies it.
Certified.
But we need
We
to
are the ones
approve
that
it.
authorize you. to
Right, so
sign
you
it.
authorize Chief Moore, and then she's gonna further certify that he was authorized.
That he
to sign
signed
the
it,
contract.
okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
she signed
makes
that
more sense.
single piece of paper.
That makes
and then
more
I
sense.
signed the contract.
This happens yearly, doesn't it?
Yes, it used to be one officer, which is why we didn't need to do that. It's way too busy for one officer, especially when we have no radio
Oh,
or
absolutely.
phone communication. So they listened to me, and they're gonna authorize 2 officers, which puts us over the monetary threshold. Where this wasn't needed, and now we need it every year.
Right.
And this is specifically for July 4th or the
Well,
whole-
it's the-
whole weekend?
It's the whole weekend. The Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I think that's the 3rd, 4th, 5th. 2 officers per day, whatever that comes out to,
What-
plus 2 cruisers.
For how many hours per day?
10 hours.
I don't recall off the top of my head. There's a monetary figure in there of what it comes out to.
Yeah, it says the completion date is July 6th, so
Which is,
Yeah, the day
That's just
after we
when
finish,
sunsets,
that
I'm
Tuesday.
sure. Yeah.
definitely goes.
I've already talked to Beth too, and she said this is all normal.
Oh, yeah, no. There's a price limitation on the front of how far it can go, so.
Is that enough? Is that number on the
Yes.
front enough to cover?
That's
it?
based on the new rate that she's proposing, because it's after July 1st.
Okay. All right. I have no problem with it.
We need to make a motion, or
I
what's
believe we do.
and the motion is what?
To approve him to sign it.
allow the chief the authority to sign the
Yeah,
contract.
I make a motion that we allow Chief Moore to enter into an agreement and sign a contract with the State of New Hampshire Department of
Natural and
that's
cultural
about
resources.
natural and cultural resources for a detail at the Clough State Park for July 4th weekend.
There a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And next I have 4 different incidents which officers and citizens are going to be recognized. If I could get Corporal Muse front and center, if you want to come around to actually present.
Oh, boy.
Do I have to?
Where you want me? Right up front, in case anybody wants to take pictures.
Oh, hi.
So Officer Olette, former Officer Olette, who's now at Bow PD, also got multiple awards. His son made the playoffs for baseball, so he went to that instead of this. First award, on October 8, 2020, at approximately 4:40 p.m., Corporal Michael Muse and Officer Thomas Olette were dispatched to the 100 block of Beaver Pond Road for an echo-level medical call involving a male subject who was unconscious and not breathing. Within minutes, Corporal Muse and Officer Ouellette arrived on scene, started CPR, and applied an automated external defibrillator, or AED, to the patient. The AED analyzed the patient, and no shock was advised on 2 occasions. Corporal Muse and Officer Ouellette followed the AED's prompts and continued life-saving efforts. Members of the Ware Fire and Rescue Department arrived on scene, subsequently taking over life-saving efforts. Prior to the patient being transported, he had a pulse and was breathing. Due to Corporal Muse and Officer Roulette's swift response, along with their training, they were able to provide life-saving efforts until medical responders arrived on scene. Corporal Muse and Officer Roulette assisted with CPR, which resulted in the patient being resuscitated prior to being transported from the residence. Unfortunately, it was later learned the patient had passed away at the hospital. In recognition of Corporal Michael Muse and Officer Thomas Roulette's commendable actions in sustaining a life in a life or death situation, they are awarded the Ware Police Department's Certificate of Commendation. Oh, you got that. Oh, did I? That's just Frisbee. Okay. Sergeant Frisbee. On December 7th, 2020, at approximately 11:30 p.m., Sergeant Ryan Frisbee and Officer Thomas Roulette were dispatched to the 100 block of Lawrence Road for an echo-level medical call involving a female subject who was unconscious and in respiratory distress. Both officers were advised CPR was being attempted. At approximately 11:40 p.m., Sergeant Frisbee and Officer Roulette arrived on scene and made contact with the involved parties who were performing CPR. Sergeant Frisbee and Officer Roulette took charge of the scene, directing the calling party to continue CPR while they applied an AED to the patient. Officer Roulette then took over CPR while the AED analyzed the patient. A shock was advised and delivered. The officers followed the AED prompts and continued life-saving efforts. The AED again analyzed the patient, and this time, no shock was advised. The officers continued with life-saving efforts until members of the Ware Fire and Rescue Department arrived on scene and took over the care of the patient. Prior to the patient being transported, she had a pulse and was breathing. Due to Sergeant Frisbee and Officer Roulette's swift response, along with their training and experience, they were able to provide life-saving efforts until medical responders arrived on scene. The patient was subsequently transported to the hospital. Medical personnel later provided an update indicating the patient had survived her medical emergency and made a full recovery. In recognition of their commendable actions which sustained the life of another, Sergeant Ryan Frisbee and Officer Thomas Roulette are awarded the Ware Police Department's Commendation Bar for Life-Saving. You're welcome. Congratulations. All right, now I need Miss Ashley Sosa, Miss Mier Sosa, and Mr. Bartlett. He's what?
He's walking.
Okay. Very good. All right. So 2 out of 4 on this one.
I don't know. Sosa. All right, so you can do that. All right.
And they should both have certificates. Sosa. All right. On February 11th, 2021, at approximately 7 p.m., Miss Ashley Sosa contacted Goffstown Dispatch to request a welfare check on her mother's, Miss Mier, am I saying that right? What was it? Mady? Ooh, I never would have got that one right. Sosa's landlord, who had not been seen for a week. Officer Thomas Roulette was subsequently dispatched to the residence in the 100 block of Winter Road. Once on scene, Officer Roulette began gathering information pertaining to the victim and observed his vehicle in the driveway and covered with snow. Mr. Bartlett informed Officer Roulette that they had tried contacting the victim by calling him and knocking on the door. They had not received they had not received a response, which was unlike him, as he is usually active. Miss A. Sosa advised the windows to the home were frosted over and a radio could be heard emanating from inside the residence. Officer Roulette assessed the totality of the circumstances and determined he would force entry into the home. The officer navigated through the home until the victim was located leaning on the arm of a couch and unable to move. Officer Roulette directed Miss A. Sosa and Mr. Bartlett enter the residence and speak with him. The victim was unable to speak, which Mr. Bartlett noted was unlike him. Officer Roulette contacted dispatch and requested Ware Fire and Rescue respond to the scene, believing the victim was suffering from a medical emergency. Officer Roulette and Mr. Bartlett remained with the patient, attempting to communicate with him and provide a level of comfort. Members of the Ware Fire and Rescue arrived on scene and confirmed the patient was having a medical emergency. The patient was assisted out of the residence and subsequently transported to the hospital. The keen observations and actions made by Ms. A. Sosa, Ms. M. Sosa, and Mr. Bartlett led them to alert authorities. Officer Woulette's response and swift decision to force entry into the home resulted in the victim receiving medical attention. The patient was transported to the hospital where it was determined he had suffered a stroke approximately 6 days prior and was unable to move or communicate. In recognition of his commendable actions in sustaining a life or death situation, Officer Thomas Woulette is awarded a certificate of commendation. In recognition of the commendable actions in a life or death situation, Ms. Ashley Sosa, Ms. Mady Sosa, and Mr. Jeffrey Bartlett are awarded letters of recognition.
Wait, you gonna have a picture? Did you picture moment?
Good, Tom?
Yeah. There.
And Officer Barry Shurust. All right. On February 13th, 2021, at approximately 8:30 a.m., Ware Police Officer Barry Shurust was in an off-duty capacity at the Encore Boston Harbor Resort. At this time, he and a friend, Mr. Michael DeBiz, who is a federal law enforcement officer, were walking through the casino when the two heard a loud noise and went to investigate. They observed an Encore employee lying on the floor in an unconscious state. Officer Shurust and Mr. DeBiz immediately identified themselves as law enforcement, took control of the scene, and rendered medical aid. Officer Shurust determined the man was not breathing. He therefore instructed Mr. DeBiz to administer chest compressions. Officer Shurust then directed another Encore employee to retrieve an AED. The medical device was located and applied, ultimately delivering the message of no shock advised. After multiple compressions, Officer Shurust observed shallow breathing. He followed with a sternal rub, and the man became more responsive. The officers kept the man in a controlled position, speaking with him to keep him awake while awaiting the arrival of Boston emergency medical technicians. Both Officer Shurust and Mr. DeBiz later received phone calls from Encore management sincerely thanking them for saving the employee's life. In recognition of his commendable actions which sustained the life of another, Officer Barry Shurust is awarded the Ware Police Department's Commendation Bar for life-saving.
They wanna have a picture.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Put the table back.
That's nice of you.
Because it's the TV.
But there's no sound. It's not just limited, it's no sound. Thank
Thank
you.
Okay, see you, Mike.
So we knew that'd clear it out.
Yep.
Wow. So the next one's not here if you wanna move on.
Like I say, I don't see Art here.
You can move on, we'll go back to it.
Okay.
Is he coming?
He's not, but we can move
Okay.
on.
So we're just gonna table, he is coming or not?
No, we need to have a discussion, but I don't want to.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
And you need to speak up. I'm getting text messages, they can't hear you.
I've heard there's no sound, period,
Okay, well,
by 3 or 4 people.
I
So
said, they said you gotta pull the
we'll
mic.
pull up, but I think there's more issues than that, so.
Okay, well,
All right.
they're probably waiting for Zoom.
Yeah, next on the agenda would be, gravel removal discussion on Duck Pond, and recognize Attorney Tom Quinn.
Thank you. For the record, I'm Tom Quinn. I'm an attorney in Milford, New Hampshire. I'm here on behalf of Duck Pond LLC this evening with respect to the pending application for a gravel permit. The problem we have is this. This afternoon, late Naomi called me and told me about the error in the continuation of the May 24th meeting. So that puts us in a bind. The regulation requires that notice by publication be given 14 days in front of the hearing. So, although initially Naomi and I had talked about, rescheduling this and getting notices out in time for the 21st hearing, as I was going through the regulations specifically looking at this issue, turns out that's not going to be possible. So, the next Monday is the 28th. That's not a meeting, a Monday on which you would normally meet. Unfortunately, the Monday following that is July 5th, which is the public celebration of July 4th. So I'm assuming that that's not a meeting evening. So that means by not being able to proceed this evening, we would be the third week in July, which of course is a huge problem. We're waiting to start construction on these houses. We've been waiting for a while already. Now kicking it into the third week of July just seems unreasonable. But the regulation not only requires that publication be 14 days in advance, it also requires that the hearing on the permit application be held within 30 days. The permit application was filed May 3rd. So we're already past that, and we're not going to do it tonight. It looks like we're not going to do it on the 21st. I mean, I'm perfectly willing to discuss that with the town's attorney to see if I'm wrong about that, and perhaps it is possible to do it on the 21st. But as I'm reading the ordinance, the regulation tonight, it doesn't look that way.
Why can't you have a special meeting on the 28th?
We can, and I was gonna wait for you to finish, but we can have a special meeting on the
So the punchline is, could we
28th,
have this meeting on the 28th?
and I don't see why we can't. We definitely can.
All right. I would greatly appreciate that.
Yep, I don't see why we can't.
It
Absolutely.
would be probably your only thing, but you could
Yep,
fill it in.
and that, I'm fine with that. We can definitely make that happen.
How about the other parties involved, there's other people?
Well, I mean, I think,
All that's left is notification, to my understanding.
yeah, I mean,
You guys have ironed it all out.
right, I didn't get a chance to speak to town council today about this issue because it came up late, and Naomi had told me what her position was. But we spent the better part of the day today ironing out the issues.
Yep.
And the only, I mean, obviously, it's a waiver, right? So we're applying for a permit, and the site is within a mile of the town center. So we need a waiver of that requirement. But Meridian has provided, a plan of the excavation, calculations of what's going to be removed. The issue of whether the actually excavated material can be removed from the site has been ironed out with the town council. She agrees that we are free to remove the material. So the only issue that we see is the waiver of the proximity of the site to the town center, and then the general permit requirements, which I believe has all been satisfied by the material that Meridian provided. So if other people, meaning you all, see other issues other than that, then we would prepare for those, talk to town council if it involves a legal interpretation, but otherwise be prepared for the hearing. But as it stands now, our impression is that those are the issues.
Ernie, do you have anything you want to say?
Sure.
From the podium, please.
Well, my only issue is that I've owned this property for over 15 years, and with the Great Recession came and things, we decided to let it sit for a while,
Yep.
or I did. So, we're obviously anxious to build the houses out. And I just, this only takes care of really lots 1 through 12, which
Right.
is the first phase. The second phase climbs up the side of the hill and has 18 lots. All of those lots are gonna have excess fill. And just for the record, this is not a financial gain of that excess fill, because most of those lots, as they go up the hill, are all hard pan ledge and clay. So it's really a nuisance to get rid of it. But I just don't wanna go through, I'm anxious to build it out, build a nice subdivision, and don't wanna continue to go through this. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not a financial gain to take that off the site. It's really not very good material at all. We have some room on the commercial sites that NBAC owns, that we can, level some of that off, and some of the lots need cuts to fills, like a normal subdivision. Ones that I built before, it's a matter of right, you go in, you take material from one lot, you fill it, you grade it, there's a little excess, it goes off to somewhere else, and it's not a major gravel removal. I mean, you're talking, Proline happens to have 2 lots that, have 7,000 or 9,000 yards, but in general, that's not the case.
No.
But I just think going forward, I have to come up with something, and we'll have dialogue the next few months, but maybe it's apply for another gravel permit under NBAC for the rest of the lots up through there, or, if we're gonna get a waiver for that. But, some of the stuff will have to come off the site, and I just wanna, have some kind of a mechanism so that can happen without wasting your time, mine, and whoever the builder is.
Right, well, I think when we hit phase 2, I think we'll basically just have to revisit exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But I think we'll probably be a little more prepared, I think.
Well, I would hope
On
so,
both
yeah.
sides, I think
But
we'll be
yeah,
more prepared.
It's been
you know.
going on for months and months, and it's
Right.
getting to the point where, there's other builders and people that would want to be on there, but no one can seem to get through this little nuance of taking this material off, which again is not a really
Not a
valuable
lot,
quality. It's
no.
not a lot, and it's not a real valuable
it's
quality,
ledge.
so that's all. And then, I don't want to waste your time, but for another discussion, we had tabled it on this one, but, we have 30, we have 30 acres on one lot and 28 on another, both commercial and have a lot of different opportunities. So we'd like to be able to come back in front of the town or work with Naomi or a planner to figure out what to do with them, because like I said, they've sat for 15 years, and, we're looking at maybe some affordable housing or there, and then maybe something commercial on the big lot. So I just, maybe some direction, we'll write you an email, some direction on who to deal with before.
Yeah.
It's okay to present you guys with something, but maybe it'd be better off to see something in a proposal first.
Right.
So let me ask you, can I just throw a question then?
Yeah.
So while you're here in the same subdivision, would you wanna come in the same night? If you're gonna be here, you're gonna be here for the 28th. You
Yeah.
talked about what you wanna do with commercial. Do you wanna try to do that, or do you wanna talk another night?
Well, I don't want you guys, if you're having a special meeting, I don't want to take up a lot of your time either. I mean, we've got some conceptuals already of what we're looking to do. I mean,
Okay.
probably takes 15 minutes if you want to take
That's
a peek
fine.
at it then.
Yeah.
I think it's important, they're right in the center of town, it's important to have some feedback as to what you guys would like to see,
Right.
so.
Did you also send anything, Ernie, to the planning board?
I haven't yet, no, because like I said, I'd seen kind of,
Like I said, you've got conceptuals, I didn't know if you wanted to go before
Yeah, it
them
was
for a
just-
conceptual, a meeting
Well,
on a
we can
conceptual.
invite them here too. We
Yeah.
can have one
They
meeting.
can do.
yeah, it's pretty simple, we've got some affordable housing there, like 48 units, and then we've got some thoughts on the commercial piece, and then, of course, I own another 2.5 acres right here in town in front of Brownies that I'm not, that's really something we would consider maybe even donating to the town in lieu of an agreement, and where we might need some variances, because, it's 100,000 yards of quality gravel on it, and you could use that and obviously have something to expand town services or buildings that you might need in the future, so I just like to kind of have a whole swoop of what this is gonna do with this property and get it done once and for all, and have something the town wants too, so.
Okay.
But we'll get you something there for the 28th, but
All right.
I'll let Tom.
No, I
Thank you,
appreciate
Ernie.
that.
Thanks,
Because I
Ernie.
hadn't gotten to that part yet. And in that regard, I think it would be beneficial if we could talk to town council about the question whether a special exception is going to be needed on these other properties, and I suspect it will be.
I suspect it will be.
And then the gravel permit, if we could do that on a larger scale instead of individual lots, just go in with one application for a special exception for the subdivision, and come in for one permit for the subdivision to address these, these individual lots, but not have to do it on a lot-by-lot basis, which, you can see takes 3 months or more per lot before you go to the ZBA and then come here.
But I think part of the issue is with this, is that some of the lots are owned by one person, and some of them are owned by, and they have to be done individually at that point.
Right, but, and
Unless
that's
you
why we're
transfer
here.
the property back to somebody
No,
else.
I get that, but, well, it's not unheard of to file a joint application. But then secondly, we're handling Duck Pond's matters, tonight and the 28th. But I think the lots that Ernie's talking about are still largely owned by NBAC. So he is actually the owner of those
Right.
lots. and
But I'm
could-
saying some of the other ones
And
are
could do it
not.
by a single.
Yeah, he could do it that way, but I'm saying is there's other
It would be
ones
way
that
more
don't.
efficient, I think, for everybody.
Well, I think the other thing, though, that poses a problem too, and I don't wanna, talking longer term, hypothetically, NBAC comes in and gets a gravel permit for the 18 lots in the next phase. You know, if we don't do all the work to bring them to grade, now another builder's gonna buy them, and he's gotta remove the material.
He's gotta go through it.
Then he's gotta
So,
go
see,
through it again.
There's gotta be, there's gotta be some
Yeah.
waiver or mechanism, and I'm not sure, it just seems that because honestly, it's a waste of the town's personnel's time too. There's 50 lots left.
Yeah.
It's a lot of lots,
It's a lot of lots.
and, we're gonna be here, every couple of months well, ABC Builders wants to buy a lot, and it's actually 1,000 yards over. It
Yeah.
just seems,
Redundant.
that's not, and that's not normal course in most towns, where you're taking material that's up there after you've had a, building permit, or you've got a plan, got a grading plan in place. Don't forget, this whole subdivision had a site-specific that runs with the property owner at the state level that allowed all these to be brought to a certain grade. So,
Right.
I mean, but that's all, that's gonna be a problem too, going forward, other builders come in and buy them.
Right.
So we need something that can
Give them.
Always ask, talk to the Lord, make a plan.
Yep.
I mean, I think.
I don't see it, I think that's probably the best course, I mean, because obviously we're not, that she's the one representing us, so.
Well, and they've had an awful lot of conversation.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think
Spent a lot
that's,
of time today.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if, he just asked earlier if he could talk to town council and come up with a plan, I just think that's a
well, if you're already working together, it's,
And let them,
Yeah.
it'd be foolish not to let you, so.
Yeah, just keep us included in the CCs and,
Yeah, we always
he
copy.
does,
yeah,
Always copy
just
them.
make sure and, yeah,
We do.
yeah, they do.
absolutely.
All right,
Well-
great. And I think,
One of the questions I have
Will has a question.
Moving forward with the house lots, how and who do we determines the under 5,000 yards? We went through that on 2 of the lots.
Right, and I think the fair way is to do it the way you did it with, with somebody in that capability that can show you what it's gonna look like after and what needs to be brought down to that.
Can that be done on a standard septic design, not have to have someone go out there and topo the whole lot? Can we just can it be put in a memo, like on the side of the septic plan, how many yards that Tom thinks will be taken off of that site? That way I'm not being held up, I can purchase a lot from Ernie, get the septic plan done right away.
So I'll ask you a further question. So when you do a septic plan, do you know what it's gonna look like afterwards?
Yes.
And you know where the septic's going, the well's going, the
Yes.
house is going?
Yep.
I mean,
Tom can do,
that makes sense.
Yeah, the town engineer.
Shows the final grading of the lot.
Yeah.
I just don't
It
wanna,
has to be reviewed here.
Has to be reviewed here and whatever the state
Because
reviews.
the septic design comes here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just as long as Laura says that's fine.
Yeah, just run that.
Run it by Laura and,
That?
yeah,
Tom,
yeah.
would you just ask her that?
I will.
yeah.
Because
No
that
reason.
makes the most sense.
the reason why I asked is there is lots in there that's under the 5,000 cubic yards, and I don't wanna purchase more and be held up for months
Yeah.
again. I wanna be able to buy it, get the
And,
septic plan.
let him answer, let them answer the questions, Will.
Let the two lawyers do it, work it out.
Because we've also had a change in personnel, so things were bounced around, we now have a building inspector. We had an interim, now we got one, so things have been on that front as well. So I'm just saying, if you get all your questions answered to keep me in the loop, I think that's the easiest way.
Yeah.
But I'll let you.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And we'll see you on the 28th.
Does he want to? He can.
Then you can be quite,
Like I say, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna bounce you back up to,
East Shore Road.
the East Shore. So what they're looking for is I received an email. Sorry, I gotta try to keep notes because I'm not sure Karen's gonna hear it. So I received an email from Mr. Siciliano, and it indicated that, I'm not sure exactly what lot, but he's trying to go underground from one side of the road to the other at 166 East Shore Drive. Do I need to get permission from the town to do it?
Yes.
Yes.
So Benji and I talked, and the answer is yes, because the town owns the road. The question Benji and I talked about was the fact that Benji would like to see that Eversource will allow it under a road It's not a driveway, there's a lot of traffic.
Yes.
So I sent back to Mr. Siciliano and said that, the question is, will Eversource let you go under a road? It's not a seasonal road, there's a lot of people that live there
Yeah.
year-round. So then he asked me if he could have conditional approval based on Eversource, and I said, I don't speak for the board, but
No,
I think the board's gonna wanna see something from Eversource, which is hence why he's not here.
absolutely. I wanna
He's
see
sup-
something from
I
Eversource.
wanna see what their requirements and specs
Yeah.
are.
So he's supposed to meet with
Exactly.
Eversource this week.
And they're gonna be upheld.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that
it's,
road,
it's
yes.
fair to say that you guys want to see something from Eversource first.
In print that says,
Yeah, no,
with,
not a condition of.
with specs, and what needs to be,
They require.
what they require.
So you want it with specs in writing?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Because I know this
easy
side,
enough to pass on.
very, stuff changes depending on the situation.
So then the next thing I believe I sent to you was the Mount Dearborn Road, tree removal?
Yes.
Okay, so on, just back
Do you
up,
have anything on that, other than email, or no?
I sent you,
You forwarded us the email now, I'm just, didn't know if there was a map or anything.
well, I can show you a picture
Yes, I'll
of
take
the
that.
tree
Take that
that's
one.
leaning.
Yeah, that was the attachment in the email, right?
It was the attachment in the email.
Whereabouts is
I
that?
think around Neil's place.
It's right off
Yeah.
our house.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, all right,
So,
One who called Eversource
Yep.
and said you need to remove it.
okay.
yeah, so what had happened was Corey
Looks like
Keith.
one that already fell down
Right.
on the other side.
So Corey Keefe from Eversource reached out to us long ago when we did the Arbor Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked about doing tree trimming on scenic roads. We said you had to have a public hearing.
Mm-hmm.
At the time he sent out his information, he didn't include Mount Dearborn because they weren't going to do any.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to the public hearing on the 17th at the planning board.
Right.
And he realizes, or Neil has reached out to him, and then he's got this one tree that's leaning. So, and it's bigger than the 5 inches.
Oh, yeah.
So what was arrived at the planning board level, and the minutes indicate, was that per the RSA, that if there was a hazard, Jesus,
Easy.
if there was a hazard that they could, I was just trying to find the RSA, a road agent or his designee without such a hearing, with written permission from the selectmen, remove trees or portions of trees that are declared a public nuisance, when such trees or portions are imminent threat to safety or public, or
Which
private.
this is, by the look.
Which
Which
that is
is,
by the
this
looks of it. Yep.
is. So you have to come here, he has to get written permission from the selectmen to take that tree down. But he posted, he gave you guys an email, and you guys can take a look at
already
that
saw
picture
it
if you
at
guys
the-
want.
Yeah.
I
looks-
see
I
no
went through it
reason
with
to
the
not
planning
take it
board.
down. I
Yeah,
think it's,
it looks like the one that already fell down further down the road.
how old is that picture, Neil? Do you know?
Oh, he just took that.
Yeah, it's
Like
just-
3 weeks.
Okay.
It's not
Yeah,
even that.
yeah, he brought it to the last planning board.
That's pretty
Yeah,
well
so,
done.
yeah, and that's why, it, in the RSA, it has to go before the board, so.
Tear it down. I vote. Make a
Right, because
motion,
if
we
they
tear
were
it
gonna, if they were gonna do the entire road, it wouldn't be an issue, but
Yeah.
where they weren't gonna do it and it wasn't
Just a
noticed,
single leaner.
so it needs
Yeah.
to come
They
to,
had to do notice prior,
I
so.
make a motion, we allow the Eversource to remove the tree. Neil, what's the address?
across from 285.
Opposite 285 Mountain Dearborn Road.
Second,
All in favor? Yes,
Okay.
done deal.
there it is. Manifest.
And you realize as a result of this, you've avoided having a bunch of people complain to you that they have an outage.
Yes.
Well, I think Eversource avoided the problem of
Yeah.
complaining about an outage.
Thank you, Neil.
Have a good night.
I'm
Right.
gonna hand you around before we get started. There's a little sign tag here for, sorry. Was I not, did I take over and I shouldn't have?
Manifest time.
Oh, Jesus. I skipped right down, I'm sorry.
Wow. All the way past the minutes
Over
and
there,
everything.
throwing the microphone sponge around and everything, and now we're
Gosh.
jumping right in
You
line
can't
here.
hear me anyway.
We
I
hope.
didn't print the manifest, so I'll have that one when you're done.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
Move to order this is a long one, I don't like this one. Move to order the treasurer sign payroll accounts payables checks dated June 10th, 2021, as including the following manifest. Payroll manifest of $66,970.78 for weekly payroll. Accounts payable manifest of $39,698.45. John Stark for $250,000, Ware Schools for $300,000, for a total of $1,313,737.98. The following manifests were previously ordered to be signed at the May 17th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. a payroll manifest of $64,611.02 for weekly and monthly payroll checks dated 5/27, accounts payable manifest of $82,031.64 for checks dated 5/27, another payroll manifest of $65,126.15 for weekly and fire monthly payroll checks dated 6/3, and accounts payable manifest of $61,481.46 for checks dated 6/3. As there's no selectmen meeting scheduled for June 14th, further order the treasurer to sign checks dated June 17th, estimated to be about, payroll checks to be signed dated June 17th, 2021, estimated to be about $70,000. And further order the treasurer to sign the amount of $70,000 for accounts payables that cannot wait until the next scheduled meeting. Reports and actual check amounts will be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion on the next manifest memo.
Second.
Well, thank you.
Is there enough signatures? I didn't look.
He says there is. I'm not taking credit
The
for
only
this
one
one.
I couldn't find a original for one of the payrolls. I saw a
you better look.
copy.
I'd hate to have you come back another night.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes. All right.
It was one of the
You
first
have to
ones
give me
at the
about
front.
20 minutes to go through this.
I know. I'm just sending down a cemetery deed. Somebody's buying a lot.
Yay. Oh, yeah.
I almost put it in my stack. Oh, yeah, thank you.
All out of, honestly, that's gonna throw a friggin' hizzy.
What's the matter?
That says there's folders missing parts, and that's gonna have a... Oh, boy. Well,
What's all that?
well, this is something that didn't get signed, sir.
No? Did you sign it either?
I can't sign it.
Why?
Oh, I can, but I will later. There is a lot here. That's the one that's missing it right there. Unless I get dumped further in the list here. I don't see it. It is one of the accounts payables. It's just a copy. The master, the original's not here.
I was wondering if Beth took it out for some reason.
I know. That's weird. I thought it was
All messed up.
throw it away.
This is all messed up.
That could be.
Yeah, this is a disaster. Payroll. Where school district is in here. John Stark fell out its own folder over here. Good job, John. You're fired already.
Yay!
Yep.
Jack needs to see this.
Did I sign it already?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Are we gonna be a minute where I can take a quick
You can.
3-minute
Have a break.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I think I have to go through this. Because this one's empty, payables,
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
so. Might as well have three then.
You're checking signatures,
Where the hell did he sign?
signatures at the same time?
What's that? Yes, I'm checking signatures. The original's missing for this payroll too. And that would be the week of, I believe, the 27th.
That one already got paid out.
And what were the other ones, payables?
Must have.
Yeah, there was, it was
We already
one of the
signed that
payables.
Then okay. That can go back. What's that one there for the,
For the cemetery.
I just haven't signed it yet.
Oh, the orange one,
Oh, that's the,
it's already been signed.
Did you
Yeah.
have enough signatures?
I haven't gone through it yet.
We'll find out.
not enough signatures.
I'm sure there's no, yeah.
I don't know if on all of them, but the one right on top there isn't, so. Nearly had another phone call about this.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Yeah, that still needs signatures on it. There's no signatures at all on it. That needs to be signed. You already had it, folded it and sent it. You gotta sign right there.
Why am I signing this one? Looks like it's just a single selectman.
No, that's,
No, you have to have 3 signatures on there.
I put it on the other part, the payroll part of it. the
Yeah, but you
slip
have
of
to
the
sign the state for it. Form
Oh,
12.
okay. I thought they got signed by department head the way around.
Don't.
So it needs 3 selectman signatures.
Yeah, you gotta
Correct.
squeeze your name
You
somewhere
gotta
along
squeeze your
there.
name on there.
Okay, I would've signed it.
With your signature, it wouldn't matter.
Give it over here and I'll sign it.
Only scribble anyway. Did you get that email I sent you, or text, I think, regarding Henniker's?
Yeah, I sent him an email.
Okay,
I sent the town administrator an email.
good.
Where
It
did
said,
you
reading the
sign it?
messenger, I'm just curious what you applied for, where you got it.
Yeah, and how do we get in on that?
He didn't reply back. Yeah, I did it right away before I forgot.
And the email
like it's 3.
regarding the toppling
sign it.
headstones?
I wasn't there, but he's got to sign
Oh,
it.
you
Is
just
that-
signed it.
Toppling
Somewhere.
headstone?
Yeah, there's
All the way to
headstones
the-
over in the East Ware
Okay.
Cemetery that are falling over.
Okay,
I don't know if that's cemetery trustees or who
I
handles
think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about that last year, there was a bunch of them, and you know, the other thing, I went down River Road this last week, and there's quite a few of them tipped over or broken.
There was on the oil mill.
Yeah,
There
but
has
there's
been.
more than
There
there
has
was.
been, because those are so old that it's tough to find
frail.
somebody
It's
to
like,
put them together.
well, that, and then Center
don't know
Square
why
has
this
got a
one
lot
says
of broken ones too, Naomi.
Where the hell do you sign this one? It says sign and date. There's no place for us to sign and date. We sign the other part.
What do you look
To
for?
report a timber cut.
Yeah, that's what they sent. You just sign, there's probably a sticky at the.
We don't have to sign the first one, just the second one?
Oh, I'm saying
Just the
here.
one that's cardboard feeling.
There's a place
Oh,
to
okay, yeah,
sign
got it.
that.
I don't know why they did that.
Must have
It's an
got
extra
stuck.
sticky.
Yeah, it might have come off something else.
Leave it there and she'll get it back.
There you go.
That's her stock of stickies.
Okay. Oh, that's gotta go that way, and the manifest has to go that way.
And I get, is the manifest coming?
I already gave it, I handed it that way.
Yeah, you got it.
This one I already signed. This one's been signed. There's more than enough
Yeah,
on
but-
it. She hasn't collected them out of here.
Yeah, I don't think that folder gets seen, because only John signed, oh, did they?
I
I signed
signed.
that.
I signed this one a couple
Some
weeks
of,
ago.
yeah, some of them were signed a week
Yeah, that
or
case
two
was a
ago,
little
and then some were new today.
Stuff
Yeah.
got lost.
This one was
This
the
one's
new
new.
one.
It's got 3 now. It's another intent to cut.
Yeah, that box got so full of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mess, and it's hard to,
Oh, boy. I go back a long ways to get freaking minutes. They're there.
Yeah, the 17th.
Yep,
yeah, I read them, but I can't remember even now. I don't think there was any major problem, but.
I didn't see any when I looked at them. I just looked at them again. Yep, that's
So
all
there's
I
no
got.
sound
Okay.
at home? Because John said he got some sound.
All right, I just heard there's no sound. 2 people told me they couldn't hear anything.
Okay, that's
Even
gotta
after we
be,
move the microphones closer?
Oh, that I don't know.
this has got,
See, because that's the one that's the recording one.
Yeah.
This is the one that's supposed to be live.
And obviously.
So that's,
so
I don't know if they're seeing us. Are they seeing us, you know?
I don't know. It sounds like they are.
okay.
I don't know what to do.
Maybe the
Here you
channel
go.
changed on that.
That's
then.
got all the signatures that need to be on there, everybody.
The orange folder is Jack's testimony.
Okay.
Yeah,
Some of those have been in there, and some of them have got 4 and 5 signatures, and some of them,
two.
some of them had 2. Those are the new ones.
We'll move to the minutes of 5:17. Page 1. Page 2.
Hey, I'm still working on it.
There it comes. I don't know why it's not working.
Page 3. Four. Five. 6. And 7.
Move to accept the minutes as written for
Second.
May 17th.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Brings us to
Yeah, now I'll take over.
your report now.
So, just a couple quick thing, my report, I already sent it down the other end, you signed the cemetery deed. Radio communication, we're leaving that open at the moment, only for the fact that we're waiting for the ARPA list for everybody. Also, John had sent me in the last messenger.
Yeah, I
If
saw
you
that.
saw Hennecker, they get a $311,000 grant for radio communications.
And they're putting a tower up on Craney Hill.
So
I
I've-
wanna know I wanna know what that grant is and how do we get in on it?
Right, so I reached out to the town's
Yeah, that's
administrator in
not
Hennecker and
great, yeah.
asked the questions that John asked. I don't have an email for you today, but that's being looked at. And actually, well, Steve just joined us again, so, we probably should move forward with forestry, is Jeremy, I know you're waiting on him to look at the contract. The forestry contract I sent you guys, Jeremy was gonna look at it. Yeah. And then we should tidy that up and finish it and move that off our plates, so. So that's, hopefully maybe we can talk about that, or you guys can Wednesday night. So, this week, there are Zoom meetings, because we don't know what the governor's gonna do. I know we tried it here, but the governor's supposed to decide Friday whether he cancels the emergency order and everybody's back in here. So for that being said, tomorrow night is Park and Rec via Zoom, Wednesday's Conservation via Zoom, Planning Board's Thursday via Zoom. And then we'll wait and see what the governor does on the 11th.
Correct.
Tennis court, we're in the queue, we're just waiting, it's gonna be July for the resurfacing. There's been some really favorable, there's been like 16 people at the pickleball. And so what they wanted was, we never priced at the beginning, was to put lines for pickleball courts. So the pickleball group has raised money
To
to
do
put
that.
up the,
Line.
their own lines.
Okay.
So that's been a good thing. I'll skip down and you see what my schedule is, but I'll talk to that later. Town hall project, Walker Roofing's done. I've not sent the bill forward. Have you had a time?
Nah, I'll try to do it this week.
Okay, because the invoice is just dated on 5/13, so I haven't sent it forward yet.
They can wait.
Okay, no, that would be, so the town hall sign, that's scheduled, it was supposed to be scheduled on the 4th, but they needed to re-dig a little bit more.
They did do some digging there. It looked like I drove by there Saturday.
Yeah, and they were hoping that Swenson could come back in this Friday, but he can't. So Swenson's gonna come on the 22nd at 9 AM, it's scheduled to be installed.
Is that sign gonna be uplit or anything?
Uplit? No, it's gonna look just like the one that's on the library. Why?
I was just curious. I wasn't on the board when that whole thing started. I was just curious if we're putting
So
lights or anything.
if you see the one that's out front here,
Yep.
the green one, and then you see the one that's in the library, the green one, with the posts, a little
Yep.
smaller of it, that's what ours is gonna look like.
Okay.
It's gonna be the same.
But it's just a replacement of what was there.
It's a replacement, but it's gonna be green, and it's gonna have the message
Okay,
board.
I was just curious.
The light, there's a light there, but it's for the flag,
For
but
the
it
flag,
does
yeah.
kinda pick up some of it a
Yeah.
little bit.
And then I'm gonna hop down to the Reservoir Drive, the no parking signs were put up prior to the opening.
Yeah.
And it's been a conversation about adding a couple more, I heard them talk, so. And then I got a Primex, email regarding proceeding or not proceeding with the claim. I think we talked about it, we weren't gonna do anything.
Right, I contacted the state, because I asked permission to do a grant. I missed the grant by 10
Oh,
days.
yeah, no,
We're not gonna do the claim, right?
No.
negative.
So, can we, maybe just put it out? I know a couple of guys that do roofing all the time. I don't know if they'd go in a day and reapply the pieces that are there, and then over the winter months, get prepared and put a grant together for next spring.
I thought you thought historical was gonna just pay for a new roof. Did that change?
Well, we were hoping that we could get a grant for part of it.
All right,
I missed
so,
it by 10 days, so,
all right, does historical wanna take care of that?
yeah,
As far as the repair?
yeah.
But is that, it's your building.
Yeah, but I think historical should, my own opinion is historical should do the legwork and we'll approve when it comes forward, the historical says, all right, we wanna use this guy
Yeah.
for X amount of money.
Yeah.
To come from the Ware Historical Society,
Just like when they did the inside.
that's correct,
Well,
Yeah,
it's
so
still
they do the
building.
homework,
Yeah,
they get the quotes,
Yeah.
and then they bring it back to us.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I have nothing else on my report, I just have a couple things I just want you to be aware of under correspondence.
Okay.
First of all, John had asked, and John, I'm not sure if this is what you're looking for, John had asked about cemetery expenditures from 2018 to 2021. Beth broke it down to lawn care, which that's a contract, so I kinda discounted that. But so lawn care, I'll just say, was 106,750. Tree removal, now this, she combined it all together. Tree removal in that 5-year time, less than that, 3-year time, was $400. Fencing was $7,774.17. Gates were $1,500, and disposal of demo was $921.60. So there's been nothing done as far as, because there's a lot of chatter out there about the grass. There's a lot of chatter about there how dry it is. There's a lot of chatter about, and I think, I mean, I've said for years that we really should put some material down and get some grass to grow back.
Now, is that because it's in the fence, can that be taken from cypre money?
Yeah, inside the fence.
Inside the fence.
Inside the fence.
Yeah, and
Can it
that's
be
where
taken-
John was leading to, is how much have we spent and why haven't we done it, I guess is, maybe I spoke too soon.
And and the cypre has more money than just the 10K.
Every year we ask for money,
Yeah, for 10K.
right, and over those years, we haven't,
Well, it's to withdraw up to 10K, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
not pulling the 10K out and
No.
let's go somewhere else.
But I think maybe it's time that we up that number to be able to start chipping away, not full blanket, but chip it away at the,
Well, we upped the number, but I actually want some repairs to be done.
that's what I'm saying, no, up the number and actually have the repairs done.
Yeah.
But start chipping away at the worst of it. We can't
Right.
just do a blanket, because that'd be,
so let me ask you this, there's been a request for
Terrible.
them to come in, trustees of the cemetery wanna come in and talk about lawn care.
okay?
So is that an opportunity at that point to, we need to get some pricing and things like that?
Yeah.
Why aren't we doing things,
Yeah,
you know?
I would agree.
Is that the opportunity we can have that
I think
conversation?
that'd be good open conversation
Schedule
time.
them to come in
So
on
that'll be on the
the next
21st, they're
meeting,
coming in.
21st.
And
What's our schedule like on the 21st already?
well, it is what it is. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
We have to accomplish business.
Right.
So, then, just to FYI, the, St. Jean's auction, I guess they're gonna, guess it's a little late here, 6/24. It's the auction.
Are they
24?
actually holding it in person?
I didn't see a sign up.
I haven't seen a sign out.
No, live webcast.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no
So,
sign out, so.
I don't think we don't have anything to get rid of.
no, that's fine.
Just to let you know.
But 6/24, I'll put that down.
6/24, put on your,
Calendar, I may have to
Yeah,
spend some money.
What about the,
we got a couple
the
public
speed-
notices,
speed
A lot of valuable parts, I was told.
we got a public
Yeah, okay, go.
public notice from the town of Henniker, it's probably because of regional impact, I'm guessing, is that in Henniker, there's a site plan proposed under their site plan regulations, which involves the construction of a venue facility, including 4,958 square foot main wedding facility, a 1,340 square foot wedding suite, a 1,235 wedding ceremony area, as well as associated patio area on the as well as site parking on 174 acres on top of somewhere.
Where's that?
Where's this?
Henniker,
In Henniker?
So,
yeah. So
Are we in a butter?
it's just,
Are we in a butter?
No, but when there's the regional impact and
Right,
you
yeah.
think about
Yeah.
how many people you could have at that wedding, when there's regional impact, you know, to notify the wedding community.
does it
So,
give like an address or a road name or anything?
It
Lot
gives
numbers?
2226 Ware Road. It gives you map 1, yeah, because that might
Like
be,
right on
that is
one,
my-
that's 114.
but
Yeah.
that might be his, you're right, and I think it is off 114.
Yeah.
Map 1, lot
I haven't seen
744A
any
and
construction.
743.
That is not even a mile past the town line. That's like almost, Henniker Road,
Which,
Would have to be up.
yeah, I
Yeah.
won't,
Ruffled Road, it's maybe,
Yeah.
That's
not,
Ruffle Road.
it's just past the line.
yeah, quarter mile past the high school, basically.
Oh, lovely.
Right,
Yeah.
so
Just
it's a
up
regional
beyond
impact,
Ruffalo.
so if anyone's interested in going to they are gonna hold a public meeting. They're gonna do June 9th, 7 o'clock at the community center, so if anyone's interested in listening to what's going on, so.
I'd just like to see the building, because I can't figure out where.
And
that
then we had
building
just one, from no one signed it, it's, it talks about Boyce Road.
Oh.
It just said the virus stopped everything, it stopped the town from doing its duty to protect its citizens. In the spring, Boyce Road was so bad that it was impassable, and venturing through would rip the bottom of the vehicles off. Costing lots of money to repair, going around was also a battle getting past the junkyard. New Hampshire house values have almost doubled, but not for people living on Blake Road. Drive down Blake Road and you're met with
Is
pile
that
of
over on
tires, fire
77?
hazard, a bug-infested place, junk everywhere. Home values is half or less because of an unsightly area. It started to get cleaned up, but now it's as bad as before. New buildings, tires, equipment, and junk. Soon the town will be paying us to live here. We can't sell our home, bad road, bad neighbors, what are you gonna do to protect us, but it's unsigned. And the letter, I can't tell you where it came from. Just wanted you to know about it.
New building put up there?
No, Boyce Road is.
I thought that's what she said.
Can't sell our home, bad road, bad neighbors, what are you gonna do to protect us? It says new buildings,
Blake Road,
but there was a fire down there,
yeah.
so I don't know if that's what he
They-
means by new buildings. I don't
Boyce
know.
Road, I just came across that a little over a week ago.
When
actually-
was that dated?
Actually, it wasn't that bad, except where we'd had rains, or,
I got it on 6/2.
and Benji had been out there and they put,
Material down?
Put stone and stuff
It's
down.
Blake Road that's not town
But Blake
maintained.
Road's not a town road, it's
That's
a
what I
private
thought.
road.
Yeah, Boyce is, but
Boyce
Blake
is.
isn't,
And,
And,
I
the
know they're still
last-
working on the junkyard.
Last one was just a hard copy of what you all received in email regarding Quaker Street.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
fine.
And then we are back, look at that, 8 o'clock.
I got one.
Predicted that just
I got
about
one
right, didn't
item
we?
under other business, and you said it, and it reminded me, was the speed trailer is all of a sudden disappeared from the police station.
It is no longer serviceable.
Well,
we paid all
I
that.
mean, we
We got a
paid for
good
that,
deal. We
and
got a great
they
deal.
just took
They
it,
can't
somebody
use
took
it.
it down and made the comment, just junk it to the
I mean, they came in here
highway
and said
superintendent, and it's like,
it was a great deal.
great deal.
I was
Why?
told by,
If we're gonna get rid of it, then,
I was told by the chief, because I questioned it, a month ago, where it went.
A month ago, yeah.
it should've been brought to us, it's a town asset,
Yeah.
to get rid of.
That the motherboard had failed, and it
Oh,
was too
finally.
cost prohibitive to fix it, so they brought it down to DPW, because I asked, well, what about all the batteries and the tires and all the stuff we put into it? They said, well, it's down to DPW, and I think they're gonna strip it for parts, and that was the last I'd ever heard of it.
But
Yeah,
we have in the purchasing policy a disposal policy. There's, on the very last page, there is a disposal
understand
line that says anything over the certain amount, I think it was $250, I think we put, needed to go through us for disposal. And that's well over $250.
And the other part of it, we have the asset we spent over that just to get it. The other part of it is the way I got it is a certain member of the department went down and told them, just take this and junk it and get rid of it.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Don't work that way.
I know it doesn't work that way, and it's the fourth, because of the forethinking and the proper thinking of the superintendent said, no.
Right. I think that you have people that are buying,
I think that seems a little
If that's the case,
underhanded.
can we send it to the auction? Has it been
We can.
stripped?
I mean,
No, it's still sitting there all intact.
but do they really know, is there anybody there that's really an electrical engineer or somebody that
No.
really knows what's going on? Maybe you should see if you could find somebody to take a quick look
Yeah,
at
I'll-
that board, because I know that
Oh, yeah.
sometimes you can fix
I
a
mean, for
board for
nothing else,
$5.
the frame of it's worth something, the trailer, and I mean,
Yeah.
the solar
It
panel.
it has
whatever.
value to it, it does.
Oh, yeah, the batteries alone are probably $1,000.
Yeah, so,
So what do you wanna do?
just
Send it to the auction.
find out what its current state is, and then, yeah, probably send it to the auction.
That's what I'd do.
But it sounds like we've missed the St. Jean deadline.
Unless we wanna have, Benji try to find somebody that can maybe fix it or look at
I
it.
think that's,
Just take
I
a
think
5
that's,
minute
he's got enough to worry with his
He's got
own
enough to
rolling
worry
stock,
about,
It's
yeah,
not really
and
his.
yeah. So
So
I,
let's dispose of it then, send it to auction.
So it's auction.
well, like you said, if there's good batteries in it, pull them. If it's Group 31s that DPW can use, pull them.
Even if they're 4Ds or 8Ds, which I think they are, because
Yeah.
of the deep cycle.
Yeah,
I mean, you could take it without,
sure
the-
that
you
the
could sell it
equipment
with,
can
it's
take that.
just that, let's get a solar activator in it.
Mm-hmm.
So take it, somebody will buy it just for the solar panel.
right, but if we can salvage the battery, something here in-house, they were brand new, we'll take them back,
Yep.
so. But,
Okay,
Okay.
No, all right, that's all.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you.
All right.
That's been on my radar for a while, no
Yeah.
pun intended.
Me too, I forgot about it.
nice. I think we're gonna have to go back into C with Steve.
Right.
Am I correct? All right, so let's finish up the meeting and then we'll
Yep.
go into C.
Yep.
Yep,
You wanna hit Snowmobile Trail real quick before that's back in the public?
Yeah, it's public, I think.
Yeah, definitely, that's before you go in non.
okay, all right. Correspondence, other business. You said you had a couple things, or you took care of them already?
I read it right through.
Okay.
Other business, that money that we were talking about, ARPA, ARP, whatever that money is.
Big
It's
grant.
American Rescue Plan,
Yeah, have we seen the first payment yet? Okay. Have we
that's why
got
I'm
the-
not rushing to,
yeah, Have we got stipulations yet?
you guys got the fact sheet.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can send you a PowerPoint. There's been several of them, but we should have gotten money in May and we haven't yet,
Okay.
so I'm not sure.
Just for giggles, can you reach out to fire, specifically the chief, that, large UV light device that they use to decon the ambulance?
Okay.
Can you see if that would work in a room atmosphere? Like if we just popped it right here in the middle of the room?
Yes,
Okay.
because they use it over there.
And how much is it?
That I don't remember.
I can have Beth look it up.
Yep. Because I was thinking, if it's not horribly expensive and we can purchase that under this ARP money, buy one for this building and then one for the town hall, and we can reopen the town hall.
Well, we got another issue at the town hall here, there, plumbing.
What's wrong with the
We
plumbing?
shut the plumbing off because it was running all over the place.
It's got a problem.
So it was we have to get a plumber in there.
Oh, okay.
Because we went in, the girls went in to check, because no
When
one
was
had been in
this?
there.
I don't remember hearing about this.
No,
Yeah, it was-
so the girls went in to
I
check,
found it by accident.
because we hadn't been in there.
Yeah.
And the
in the
water
fall.
was leaking in the men's room, so you just shut the faucet, the thing at the bottom of the toilet off.
Yeah.
So we asked the former building inspector to go over and see if he could fix it, and he said yes, and to my knowledge,
All he
I
did was, all he
thought
did
it was fixed, but
all he did
it's
was
not
turn the
been
valve
touched.
off, turn the valves off and shut the water off.
It's
in the
not been
building.
touched,
Okay.
so.
So we need to
But
get
we did
somebody
stop the water from running,
That's
but
good.
I thought it was fixed, but again,
Well, maybe we oughta, who do we have on contact for that? A lot of people?
no, should you put that back out to bid?
We probably should.
Okay.
It's been a couple years.
Well, last year we didn't do anything, because
Right.
nothing was open, but.
Nothing was open, right?
I'd like to, I mean, if all goes well and we actually go the route of trying to open it up, obviously, we're gonna need to get a plumber in there to get this thing fixed, so.
Oh, yeah,
No, we
yeah.
might as well get fixed anyways. It's
You're gonna
gotta
have
be
to get some,
fixed.
I mean, I'm sure the cobwebs are probably everywhere too.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's gotta be fixed,
Who knows
so-
over the wintertime if there's anything else.
Might as well try and get fixed now by somebody.
We can check on the price.
Okay. But yeah, I was thinking, aside from the plumbing issues, if we can open it up and use that UV device in the at, say, overnight, that'll kill the viruses, and that'll get rid of the need to go in and pay somebody to disinfect it.
Well, it's yes and no. You still have to gross decon. It's not the end all, but you still have to gross decon before you use it. And I think the department uses them for about 45 minutes a room. So, it's not like you can just say, yeah, just put the light in there, it's
Fire
all
it,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that. You still need to do gross decon.
We're also gonna pursue the, air with the HEPA filters and the
air
exchanges in the
exchange
room,
Here, yeah.
so.
We're here, but not over there, right?
No, not over at the town hall, I was gonna do it here, just because we're in it here all the time.
Okay. Okay, so. Yep,
Okay.
all right. Any other business? No?
Steve has,
I have a C after Steve, so, but
Steve wants to talk about.
he's first, and he's gonna say something about the
Snowmobile.
snowmobile first, and then we're gonna go and see with him.
Yeah, sounds good. I don't have a map for this one, but you all familiar with Duck Pond, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, chuckle. So, yeah, anyhow, the Duck Pond, open space portion had in the deed the ability to have a snowmobile trail through there. And historically, there's been a trail in that general area, and I understand there's a abutter that somehow has withdrawn their support for the use of their property. So it's kind of a little bit of a crisis for the club. And, you know, like I said earlier, we're supportive of that. So we went ahead and worked with Laura Spector Morgan, and, you know, the only part I was concerned about when we had a meeting, we had our discussion, is the pins haven't been installed yet on the open space land, but she said that's okay. So, basically what we'd like to do as a commission, as of our last meeting, is to grant the Snowmobile Club a permanent easement. And the reason for doing that is because I'm really concerned, like, once that development's built, I mean, there's bound to be someone that's hostile about snowmobiles, you know, going through there or whatever. So if we get that in there before everything's all built out, then, you know, there's really nothing there's not much they could do about it. And we think that that's an important connector. My understanding is if that's not there, it shuts down an awful lot of trails. And, so based on the opinion, the discussion this morning with Laura and the opinion that went to Naomi, is that, we would, as a town, ask the Snowmobile Club to facilitate, the legal description, you know, essentially a draft deed for you and the Conservation Commission to sign. You know, it's an easement deed.
Yeah, she'd like the snowmobile club to prepare a plan and easement for everybody's review.
That's fine, yeah,
And that's.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
That's fine.
And like I say, it protects that trail, so,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they
and
got.
that's kind of an artery for them, so I would definitely,
Yeah,
support of that.
It's a corridor trail.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really great thing to have, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah,
Awesome.
excellent.
All right.
Okay, that's
So, that will be the conclusion of the meeting. We're gonna do a, non-public with, Steve, who is the vice chairman of the Conservation Commission, to discuss some properties, and then we'll have a short, non-public under C after that, and we will adjourn. So, have a good night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Good to be back.